This presentation is sponsored by the National Urban League as part of its Jobs Rebuild America program. For more information about the Jobs Rebuild America program, visit iamempowered.com/jobsrebuildamerica. Today's presenter is Jim Stroud. Information about Mr. Stroud is available on the screen. And now, our feature presentation. Welcome to my presentation, Job Hunting and the Absence of Online Privacy. It is my hope that at the end of this presentation, you will, 1, be awake, and 2, be equipped to take your job search to a whole new level. Yeah, woohoo! All right. Enough of that being silly. Quick question for you. By the way, that is me on the screen. Apologies if it's too scary for some viewers. Okay, quick question for you. Is there such a thing as online privacy? Yes or no? And this is a trick question. If you said no, then you are correct. Companies track your data. Hackers invade computer systems all the time, and private content can be duplicated and posted elsewhere. But, it's a fact of life. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? If you said yes, that there is online privacy, you would also be correct. Some websites are behind firewalls to guard against hackers, and having complicated passwords do help. But guess what? I'm not talking about any of that today. Whether or not you have the privacy online is not the question you want to ask as a job seeker. The best question to ask is, what will recruiters see when they look you up? Trust me, if a recruiter is interested in you, they will do what I call the poor man's background check, which is Googling your name. However, they will not tell you that they are Googling your name because of potential lawsuits. For example, let's say that I find you on Facebook and mention that to you, that I found you on Facebook or whatever. Later on, I hire someone else and you get angry and you decide to sue my company because you think I'm discriminating against you because of your sexual preference or religion or political ideology or any number of things that are listed on your Facebook profile. Statistically speaking, you will lose that lawsuit. But hey, who wants to hassle? I mean, really. So best to err on the side of caution and just not tell you that I found your information on a network that mentions all of that information about you. Now, that being said, here's a news flash for some of you. The things you post online can be read by others. Apparently, there is a significant population unaware of that fact, which brings up an intriguing question. Well, intriguing to me. With people seeking employment or desiring to stay employed, say inappropriate things online. What I want to do now is share a few alleged incidents with you. What I would like for you to do is to tell me, figuratively, because of course you can't do it literally since this is a video recording, do you think the stories I'm about to share with you are true or false? Okay, I'm going to share a story with you and you tell me if it's true or false. All right, you ready? All right. A flight attendant was having a bad day, and this flight attendant decides to give all the passengers the finger. They then take a picture of it and then they tweet it out for the world to see, simply because they were having a bad day and they felt that was the best way to express themselves. Now, is this true or is this false? Believe it or not, this was a true story. A flight attendant who worked for an airline called Aeroflot, I think that's how you pronounce it, as I said, was having a bad day, gave the employees a finger, took a picture of it, and posted it, and the airline saw it, did not appreciate it, and let her go. All right. Another alleged incident. A certain reporter for a major news outlet lamented the loss of a known terrorist on social media. The news outlet did not want to be associated with someone who openly regretted the death of a terrorist who took American lives. So they fired said reporter on the spot. Now, would anybody say anything remotely like that on national news, or as a national news personality say something like that openly on social media? True or false? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Well, unfortunately, for that particular reporter, Octavia Nasir, that actually happened as well. As you can see on the screen, here is the tweet in question, which cost her an employment opportunity. Okay, last one more. See if you think this really happened or not. A certain somebody called in sick with a migraine and could not look at a computer screen at all because the migraine was just too much for them. So they called in to their boss and said, "Hey, boss, I'm just not feeling today. So I'm going to take this as a sick day." And boss says, "Okay, I understand. Hope you feel better." Shortly thereafter, this certain somebody gets on Facebook and starts posting away. Apparently, they have forgotten that their boss was a Facebook friend, and oops, unemployment soon followed. Now, is that a true event, or is that false? Well, guess what? It was also true. Now, I'm sharing these examples with you not to make you paranoid about the internet, not at all. It's only intended as a cautionary tale. The moral of the story overall is simply to be responsible. Now, you might say, "Jim, I think I am responsible. I believe I am responsible online, but keep talking." Okay, I will. I want to share with you a few tips on building and managing your online reputation, because it's so very important, especially when you're out looking for work. Step number one is to evaluate where you are. Do the very thing that recruiters are going to be doing anyway once they develop an interest in you, which is do a Google search on your name. If you find something you don't like that is connected to you, your name, you can petition Google to remove it. They actually have an online form for that very thing, where you can say, "Google, I don't like this," or "This is misrepresenting me," or what have you. The link to that page is on the screen, and I think what I'll do is I'll also post a link to this resource as well as other resources that I'm going to cite here in this video, in the video description as well, just to make it easier for you. Okay. Now, I would suggest also, in addition to petitioning Google to remove information about you, if that is the case for you, I also would suggest creating a Google profile, a Google Plus profile, which is very similar to a LinkedIn profile. And having a Google Plus profile is advantageous as it could come up in search results above other information that you hope recruiters do not see. Here's something interesting. When I do a search on my name on Bing, the very first result is from LinkedIn. Parenthetically, if I were logged into Facebook while searching on Bing, I would see comments from my friends on what I was searching. It's a small world. And what if a recruiter was a friend of one of my friends on Facebook, and they searched my name on Bing? Would they see positive comments made about me from my friends? Just something to think about. Just something to think about. Just throwing it out there. Check this out too. When I do a search on my name on Yahoo, I notice that the very first result again is LinkedIn. Now, when I scroll through these other search results on Yahoo, I start noticing something. I start noticing that the different links in the search results are from other social networks too, like YouTube and Twitter, at least the ones that are pertaining to me. Although there are other Jim Strouds out there in the world, believe it or not. So once I noticed how my name was popping up in the different search results, I started to wonder. I said, so even if I'm not active on a lot of websites or social networks in this case, it's good to sign up and add my professional information on these different profiles, because in this way it increases the chances of the right information about me being found by recruiters. Let me say that a different way, because I think I sort of rambled that. Even if I am not active on YouTube, for example, let's say I don't have videos that I want to post on YouTube. I just basically go on YouTube, look at videos, and I don't post videos. It still would be in my benefit to go to YouTube and create a profile of myself, stating, my name and my job title and other information, because you can do that when you set up a profile on YouTube or any social network for that matter. There are slots where you can add in information about yourself, and invariably the information that you can add about yourself includes your job title. So even though I'm not active on YouTube from the standpoint of posting videos, in this example I'm saying, it's still in my best interest to set up a profile there, because that's something else that Google could index and something else that could come up in a search result when recruiters are looking me up online. Make sense? Okay, hope that makes sense. Go on. Okay, now since the search engines are showing preference to social networks whenever I do a people search, my thought was I should make sure that my information is consistent across the different social networks I was part of. So if I was a recruiter on YouTube, if I listed my job title as a recruiter on YouTube, then I want to make sure that the same information is on Twitter, because both sites might come up in a search when a recruiter does a background search on me. That makes sense? I also wanted to be sure that no bad information would show up in the search. So when or if I saw something I did not like, I would petition Google, like I showed you earlier, or I would also petition Yahoo or Bing and ask them to remove it. And they have links for that as well, which you see at the bottom of the screen on this slide here. However, it would be a lot quicker and it would be a lot easier if I were to just contact the web page that had the negative information about me and say, hey, sir, ma'am, dude, whatever, I'm trying to get a job now. So would you mind taking that picture down for when I was at a spring break back in my college days? I would really appreciate it. That would help me out a lot. That would be a whole lot faster. And if they decided not to do it because they want to be mean or whatever, then I can always petition through Google or Yahoo or Bing to remove that search result. Just FYI there. Oh, yeah. Do you know about this website? This is called Noam. You can get to it by going to Noam.com. Now, Noam searches 500 plus websites for usernames. If I were to search on Noam for the term Jim Stroud, which is the username I use for all the different social networks that I'm a member of, I would see websites that I joined in the past with that username. And I also would see other people who have logged into a website with that username. I would suggest to you that you would search your name with Noam, so that you're searching 500 other plus sites to see if you have registered for a website, because one, you might have registered for a website and totally forgotten about it, and so Noam will remind you of that website, and you can go check it out and go, oh, this information is good, that I don't mind recruiters possibly coming across this information, so I'll leave it alone. Or, maybe you see something you don't like and you can delete the account or change it or whatever. Also, what's good about searching Noam for your name is that you might discover other people with your name on social networks. And at least if there are other people out there with your name with questionable information or information that you don't want associated with you, at least you would know in advance. So when you talk to a recruiter or after an interview, you can say, hey, I don't know if you are going to do if you're going to Google my name, wink, wink, later, but if you happen to come across information about X, just know it wasn't me, so to speak. Sort of like preventive maintenance. All right, makes sense? Okay. Another site that you want to check out is socialmention.com. It's a good tool as well. If you search your name on Social Mention, what you'll find are places online, different social networks where people are mentioning your name or whatever you happen to be searching on. Something I recommend that you do every now and then, because you could be a perfect angel, but your friends could be mentioning your name in conjunction with activities you might not necessarily condone. So Doing a check every now and then on social mention is good because it'll help you spot information before a recruiter does. So just sort of FYI there. Now, if you don't have time to keep doing all this research, you can outsource it to another company. One such company you can use is Safe Shepherd. You get to them by going to safeshepherd.com. Now, I have not had any dealings with Safe Shepherd myself personally, so my mentioning them is not a recommendation. It's just sort of letting you know. So, just throwing that out there. I'm throwing a lot of things out there. All right. Now, after you have gone through the trouble of seeing what's being said about you online, good, bad, or indifferent, the next step is to figure out what you want to be said about you online. And of course, what you want to be said about you online is wrapped up in who you want to be. So, pop quiz. And yes, this is a trick question associated with this pop quiz. Quick shout out, though, before I give this pop quiz. Quick shout out to my friend Otis Collier, who first introduced me to this concept so many years ago. It really impressed me, and obviously it has, because I'm sharing it with you now. But I digress. Okay, look at the picture on the screen. Can you tell me what it is? You may think you know, but you might not really know. Okay, what is this on the screen? Do you know? Do you know? Okay, the answer is I don't know. They look like Fruit Loops to me. However, they could be the generic equivalent called Fruit Rings. And if you have done any grocery shopping at any point in your life, no doubt you've seen cereals like this where you have the name brand and then you also have the generic equivalent on the shelf as well. Now, when I see a name brand like Fruit Loops and a generic equivalent like Fruit Rings, I think to myself, they're essentially the same thing, at least in my humble opinion. But I notice rather immediately that one is more expensive than the other. Why is that? Why are there two cereals that are essentially the same, but one can command a higher price that people will pay for, and another one is cheaper, although I haven't heard of it, it's essentially the same thing? Why is that? Well, the short answer is branding. Dun, 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 dun. Fruit Loops has commercials. Fruit Loops clearly marks its benefits, like being a good source of fiber. Fruit Loops promotes itself in such a way that even if the picture I showed you before was Fruit Rings, more than likely you thought it was Fruit Loops. Now, what does Fruit Rings do to promote itself? Fruit Rings does pretty much nothing, at least as far as I know. It just sits on the shelf and hopes someone picks it up. Now, you have to ask yourself, what recruiters looking at your resume or your profile on LinkedIn or what have you, would they consider you a premium product like Fruit Loops, able to demand a top dollar? Or would they look at you as another average candidate, just like everybody else? Kind of the Fruit Rings equivalent of someone in your industry. Now, before you answer that question to yourself, let me give you one more thing to think about. On the screen is a salary comparison between an admin assistant and an executive assistant. Now, forgive my ignorance, but don't they essentially do the same type of work? And if so, couldn't someone branding themselves as an admin assistant demand or command a higher salary if they were branding themselves as an executive assistant? Just something to think about. That's all I'm saying. Just think about it. An admin assistant is $33,000. An executive assistant is $51,000. That's quite a disparity for doing essentially the same type of work. Just saying. Just saying. Okay. Before we go on to the third step, the final step, I have some homework for you. Or rather, homework for you. Now, I'm not going to check it. I'm not going to grade it. But I think that if you do it, it'll be of huge benefit to you. Okay. I want you to answer the question, what is your personal brand? Now, to answer the question, what is your personal brand, fill in the blanks on the screen. Now, if you need to, pause the video now so you can jot this down. Go ahead. Pause. Matter of fact, go ahead and pause the video and jot this down. I'll still be here. Go ahead. Now, once you have a handle on what your personal brand is, part 2 of your homework is to look up jobs that would be of interest to you. Now, once you have these jobs that would be of interest to you, compare your resume to those jobs, and then analyze the likelihood of your resume being found by a recruiter. This will also help you see if the way you are describing yourself on your resume and online in general is in line with what recruiters are looking for. Now, you might have this expression on your face that I have on the screen there, where you're going, where you going, what? Because all that I just said may sound tough to do, but it's not. It's really very simple. I'm going to show you by going to the next page here. On the screen is the site JobScan. You get to JobScan by going to jobscan.co and not jobscan.com. Okay. Now, what JobScan does is it compares your resume with a job description and gives you a percentage score. And this score will tell you how likely it is that a recruiter is going to see your resume when they search their own applicant system, provided, of course, that you have applied through their system for a job. Make sense? And you apply through a system. Yeah. Okay. I'm getting tongue-tied. If you have applied for a job through their system, then this job scan will show you the likelihood of your resume coming up in a search when a recruiter searches their system for resumes. Okay, that makes sense? Hopefully so. If not, you may want to check out this video I did because I was so fascinated by JobScan and how it worked that I created a video, and there's a link to my video there on the screen, and of course it should be in the video description that I made as well. Well worth checking out. But let me just give you the sort of the overall pitch of how it works. On the left-hand side of the screen, you would paste in your resume. On the right hand of the screen, you would paste in the job description. You would hit the search button or the go button, and the system will check your resume and check the job description. It'll say, based on the keywords in your resume, you have a 60% chance or 10% chance or 80% chance of your resume appearing high in the search results. So if you ever wanted to know a way to get out of the black hole, this is one tool that you definitely want to take advantage of. Just saying. Okay, going on to the next screen here. Yep. Oh. When recruiters look you up online, and for that matter, when companies do a background check on you, one of the things they focus on is your email address. They do. So I would highly recommend. What? That was a high note there. I highly recommend that you use one email for your resume and job search efforts, and another one for your personal use, especially if you have concerns about what could possibly be discovered online. Now, as a quick tip, Gmail is great for this because it allows you unlimited aliases that can all report to one box. So look in the bottom right part of the screen here for an example of what I mean. Your Gmail username, let's say it's John Doe, plus an extra word like job search and .com, at gmail.com will both go to the same inbox of John Doe at gmail.com. Make sense? It's very cool. I've been using Gmail for years. Highly recommend it. And I also have used this strategy before, and it's worked well for me. So throwing it out there. I need to stop saying throwing it out there. I realize I'm saying it a lot. Okay, I'm rambling. Go on, next screen. All right. Okay. Step 1 was to check what is being said about you online. Step 2 was to create a personal brand online. Step 3, the last step, is to create a consistent social identity. I call it the Superman rule. Now, Superman fights crime in his tights and a cape, and when he's not doing that, he is the mild-mannered reporter. Now, people who know him as Clark Kent do not know him as Superman, and vice versa. I am tickling myself. I highly suggest that you do the same. Now, should you feel the need to sing Drunk in Love by Beyonce and post it on Instagram, then call yourself Sexy Chocolate. Do not use your real name. Use Sexy Chocolate. Why? Because when recruiters Google your name, they will not see you being Sexy Chocolate. And as a result, you will not have disqualified yourself from a potential employment opportunity. All right? Now, while we're on the subject of this, let's take a moment, if you would, and take this personal oath that you see on the screen, where you say, I will use my real name when discussing my work history and industry online, thus leaving a trail for recruiters to find when they do background searches on me. But I will also use an alias when I am playing around online, thus decreasing the chance of embarrassing and career-limiting moments. All right? Make sense? Hope so. Now, taking all of that into consideration, you might be thinking, as I was, how does one go about leaving a trail for recruiters to find? And while I'm at it, how can I appear as an expert? Well, if you were thinking that, as I was just then, consider some of these eye-opening statistics. Eye-opening, tripping over my own tongue. Consider these eye-opening statistics. Is that what I said? That's what I said. Brought to you by Jobvite. Now, Jobvite is a company that every year they do a social recruiting survey to see where companies are getting their hires and what works best for them. And these are some of the results from the 2013 survey. Excuse me. As you see on the screen, recruiters believe the best candidates come from employee referrals, which is number one. Number two, social networks. And third, corporate career sites. Now, are you surprised that social networks rank so highly with recruiters as being among the best places to find people? You shouldn't be at this point, because I've been telling you that recruiters research people on the internet all the time. Now, and another thing to keep in mind as well, it costs nothing to get an employee referral. Company likes it, love it. Who doesn't like free? Doesn't cost anything to get candidates from a social network. Facebook, LinkedIn, although they have some premium products, they essentially have a free product as well. Twitter is free. Google Plus is free. Candidates are there. So finding candidates that happen to be of high quality and a free resource, who is hard to resist. So recruiters and companies love those places as well. That makes sense? And actually, let me back up a little bit, just because it doesn't make sense to some people who are listening here. When you post your information on Monster or Career Builder or any of these other sites, recruiters have access to them once they have paid to access that system. Monster isn't free for recruiters. Monster is free for job seekers. So you post your resume there for free and you forget about it, until somebody calls you after they found your resume. But recruiters, to see your same information, they have to pay X amount of dollars. And then once they paid their money, then they potentially will see your resume. Make sense? So by having your information out on social networks, all recruiters can access your information for free. Keep that in mind, just in case you're someone who is reticent about posting their information on different social networks. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say just around. Not going to say it. Something to keep in mind. That's what I'm going to say. All right, here's another stat. 78% of recruiters have hired through a social network, and that is growing. You see on the left-hand side of the screen where it was like 58% of recruiters had hired through a social network in 2010. Last year, it was 78%. On the right side of the screen, you can see which social networks that companies are recruiting from the most. Number one, by a wide margin, is LinkedIn. Second closest is Facebook at 24%. Wow, that's a big disparity. And then a little bit further down is Twitter. So LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, if you want to be found or increase the chances of being found by recruiters, definitely number one place, have a profile on LinkedIn. Also, having some information, public information available on Facebook. I know some of you may be a little squeamish about that, but I'm going to talk about that in just a second. And then, of course, another network that you want to be a member of so that your information can be found is, of course, on Twitter. Another stat for you. These are the places where recruiters are going to the most to find people for various jobs. So keep this in mind. The number one place, of course, LinkedIn by far and away. The second place that recruiters go to find people for opportunities is Facebook. And let me preface that again by saying these social networks are free. So going and searching on these places for people does not cost anything additional to the recruiter. So who doesn't like free, once again? So this is why, another reason why they're going to these places. LinkedIn number 1, Facebook number 2, Twitter number 3. Next to Twitter, number 4 is an RSS symbol designating blogs. So after they've gone through LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, recruiters are looking at different blogs that people have set up. So of course, blogs are a great place to showcase your expertise. After blogs, companies are looking at Google+, and then they're also looking at YouTube. All very great, very good places for you to join, post your information. Even if you're not active, it's still a good place to post your information there, just so that it can come up in a search when recruiters are looking for people like you. On the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, you're seeing other places that recruiters are going. They're not ranking as high as LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and the others, but yet and still, recruiters are going there because they represent specialized talent, such as GitHub, which is a place for technical personnel, software developers chiefly, also Stack Overflow for that matter. Notice also that recruiters are starting to look at places like Instagram and Pinterest, something that might raise a couple of eyebrows to those who are listening to this video. So you might not have noticed or even thought that recruiters are looking for talent on Instagram and Pinterest, but they are. So keep that in mind as well. Another reason why you should have your Superman and Clark Kent identity, or rather your real name versus your sexy chocolate name. So yeah. All right. Yeah. Next slide. It is so easy, too easy to ruin a good reputation online. Such being the case, you want to be diligent with certain things. And like this quote here from the Bible, a good name is very desirable because with a good name, you can get credit. And you can also get the attention of recruiters as well. All right, one way that you can maintain a good name is to do things that reflect positively on you in the eyes of a recruiter, while likewise not doing those things that reflect negatively on you to a recruiter. On the screen are examples of what recruiters have said they like to see and things they do not like to see. So study this list well. Things like references to illegal drugs, or posts or tweets of a sexual nature, profanity, bad spelling, drinking alcohol. Those things recruiters don't like so much. So you definitely don't want to be doing those things online because they could impact your employment chances. Yeah. So, but things that recruiters do like, they do like seeing you volunteering for charitable initiatives. They do like seeing you being a member of a professional organization. So those are things that you definitely want to promote and keep doing online as well. So just, yeah, not going to say it. So those are things you want to keep in mind. All right, let's go into the next slide here. One last tool to share with you. Hopefully you're still awake. I highly recommend that you create a few Google alerts. Simply type in your name or whatever else you're searching for, and Google will send you an email when something new enters its database matching your query. Bing and Yahoo do not have alerts for searches, at least not for web searches. I know they do have it for news searches, I believe, but not for regular web searches like this. In case of Bing and Yahoo, it's not a bad idea to mark a few dates on your calendar to search Bing and Yahoo to see if anything interesting appears around your name. Now, to get to Google Alerts, which I didn't put on the screen, sorry about that. To get to it, you just go to google.com/alerts, and you'll get to this page that way. All right? Okay, well, in the words of Granny from the Beverly Hillbillies, Above all, don't post anything online that will get your granny riled up. You never know what could come back and bite you in your hind parts. Wow, that was bad. Very bad granny imitation. If you have any questions, I feel like I'm all talked out now. If you have any questions, I hope you got some value out of this. Hopefully it wasn't too corny. But if you dig some value out of this, feel free to reach out to me via LinkedIn, and we can network that way. I think I covered everything I wanted to cover, but I did edit this prior to making this video, and I might have cut something out that I did not intend to. If you have any questions, or I mentioned something that did not go into detail, or if you like more detail on something, feel free to reach out to me through LinkedIn, and I will assist as best I can. Okay. Also check out the description that goes along with this video for links and even additional links that I didn't mention in this video that might be helpful to your job search. All right. Okay. I'm going to get something to drink now and clear my throat. And you guys have a great day and good luck with your job search. I really mean that. Good luck with your job search. All right. And let me know if this has been helpful to you. All right. Talk to you later.